We are gathered here at the Global WIL Economic Forum, and we've got hundreds of people here, ladies who have changed the world, ladies and gentlemen who are making a difference in this world. And it's an eclectic mix of people from all over the world talking about some of the most current issues. And in this sort of bouquet of people, there is one beautiful diamond that comes out, one beautiful flower that comes out that absolutely glows from all of this, and that is our favorite Amna Haddad. Welcome, Amna. Good to see you.
Welcome. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
It's a real pleasure. And you know, when I read about you, instantly there was this sense of connection and resonance that you are a person who is out there with a dream and making something happen. What is that driver inside you that wakes you up in the morning and makes it happen?
I think the driver is someone who is not willing to take no for an answer. And I have always been that person who never followed the crowd. I've always been someone who broke barriers before I even got into weightlifting. So for me, it's just how I think I was born. I was born to be a leader, I believe, and I was born to fight for women's rights.
Okay. Tell us about your youth and how you evolved, because personally I have an issue with the word fight. I would personally use the word empower, liberate, develop, grow, nourish. Fight to me starts becoming negative. But if that's your catalyst, need to understand. So how did you grow? Tell us a little bit about your background.
I have always been a loner, and as a loner and an extremely introverted person, I saw the world in a different way, I think, because I was observing a lot more than acting or being in the action. And that for me is, I think, why I am the way I am today, is because I always stepped back and I watched. And I saw a lot of things that I was not happy with. And I think that is basically the reason why, or the drivers that are inside of me that are getting me to be who I am today and do what I'm doing.
You're an athlete. Why did you get onto weightlifting as opposed to, I don't know, swimming or running or javelin? Why weightlifting?
The sport spoke to me. I mean, once I touched that bar, it just felt like home.
Really?
Yes, there's something about weightlifting that feels very empowering, and I don't think it's just for women. I think it's also for men, just to feel physically strong, to be able to say, I can lift X, Y, Z. But it's not even about the numbers anymore. It's more about the analogy of what lifting is, because when you're lifting weight, it's heavy, it's tiring, it breaks down your muscles. That's how life is. It really is heavy on your shoulders, and with weightlifting, you learn how to manage some of these aspects in your life, and that for me is why I love the sport more than any other sport that I have tried, because it helped me really learn how to manage my own life.
Wonderful answer. Brilliant, brilliant, amazing answer. That answer is offline, but that answer is worth a lot when said in an environment where people can be inspired. So, inshallah, we will do that. Were you a naughty child at school, or were you too busy running around lifting weights?
No, here's the interesting part about sports. I only been doing it for the last 5 years. I was never an athlete. As some people, and I tell this to a lot of people, is I'm an athlete by accident, and it didn't just happen. And I think that's because of how we were raised. Sports was not encouraged, and not for women, but in general, it's not something that you're pushed toward because they don't see it as a career. They don't see it as something that is reputable. I don't know if that's the right word.
That is absolutely fine. Yeah.
And that for me was, I think, why I found sports very late, because there was just no push for it.
Amna, you look a little bit tired. Is networking and meeting so many people and talking is more difficult than lifting weights, or is it the same?
It's really funny because for me as an introvert, and I'm extremely introverted, people may not realize that because I can be very social when I'm social. But that also quite exhausts me because I'm someone who needs to recharge quite often. Yes. And you know what's interesting thing about weightlifting and networking? They're kind of similar. Let me tell you how. So when you're lifting weights, you're actually breaking down your muscles. And it's only during rest is when you recover and actually get stronger. It's not when you're lifting the weights. So when you're networking, you are just, exchanging a lot of energies, with people. You're meeting a lot of different, professionals, ideas, and it's just, it's like you have to take it in and you have to take it in, and it's bombarding. But only when you take that moment to step back and lay down in your bed, relax, like, okay, that conversation could lead somewhere. That could be something that I could follow with. So that is how I see networking and weightlifting. They are pretty much the same thing.
What a wonderful answer. Thank you. Now, you are referred to as a celebrated, prize-winning, award-winning weightlifter. Please explain if there was anything, what you'd like to share in terms of your achievement.
Well, I've said this in the past, and I'll say this again, is my story is beyond what I have achieved as an athlete in terms of medals, titles. It's more of the fact that I have lifted my nation and that I have raised the profile of UAE women who are athletes in the country, not just locally, but internationally. And I believe that's why a lot of people see me as a champion. It's not because of the Olympics or what I have won and did not win.
Wonderful. Lifting your nation, and you have become a role model in terms of lifting your nation. Are you going to be working to lift your nation and yourself as far as business is concerned, and how you develop your ideas there? What is your dream there?
Actually, I am partnering with a lot of companies right now. I'm in discussion with a number of them, and one of them the Sports Council. And I will be part of the Hamdan bin Mohammed Sport Community Initiative that's happening very soon. So that's what my goal is to use my experience, my athlete who has struggled, because I was an athlete who struggled a lot in the last 4 years, and things were not laid out for me. I was not given, hey, Amna, here, take some money, go and train, or Amna, here, come train at this gym, and whatever. It was not like that. It was very much of a struggle, fighting for rights, fighting for where I want to train, having to travel to the US to even train because they have better programs than we had here. And what I want to do right now is bring the knowledge back to the country and develop sports so that other athletes do not, deal with these challenges as I have in the past 4 years. So my focus is sport education and development at this point.
So looking at young women, say a 10-year-old child, what advice would you give to that young girl in terms of how she is developing?
You will deal with a lot of challenges, and you will deal with a lot of resistance, a lot of people who will say no to you, those who will mock you, those who will tell you belong in the kitchen, which has happened to me a lot of times. But here's what I say to them is only through resistance we get stronger, and only through that we have to keep working harder, because that's what gets us to the next step and to the next stage, to the next level, to the next podium. So it's more about you and your individual efforts and how hard you work to reach to where you want to go. And it doesn't matter what kind of dream you have. It could be in business, it could be in filmmaking, it could be in sports. It doesn't matter. As long as it does not hurt anyone and it's helping you and society, go for it.
Please share with us your emotion at the point where you have lifted the weight of your target and you've just done it. What's that feeling? Share that feeling with us.
That feeling feels so empowering, and you feel like you're the strongest person on earth, even though you're not. It's a feeling that makes you feel that I've done it. I did it. I did it. It's like,
Exactly. And then do you have in your life and when you do it in business? I mean, seriously,
yes.
Do you feel that?
Of course. And that, that feeling of motivation and inspiration that you have to keep feeding yourself, because when you work for yourself and when you are a self-starter, you have to motivate yourself. You have to be the one to regulate your emotions. You have to deal with the ups and downs. You have to deal with the good and the bad every single day. And that, I believe, is what makes a lot of women or people in general great leaders, is because they have learned how to lead themselves first, and then they are starting to lead others.
What can these 500 women outside do to support your cause and your purpose? What can they do tomorrow morning and say, sign a petition, support a cause to make Amna the big hero that you already are?
Thank you. For me, what I want from other women, especially who are at the top of their careers, is to say, hey, Amna, I would like to take you under my wing to mentor you, coach you, and teach you how you can go about business, how you can go about negotiating, how you can go about dealing with certain challenges and developing your business strategy, your planning, who to approach, who to talk to, and how to talk to them. Because I don't have that experience. I have studied journalism, so I'm good at researching. But that can do so much because in real life, it's very different from case to case. And for me to have that knowledge is going to help me advance in my career and in my business. And hey, if they want to sponsor me, hey, cool, I'm down for it.
You're down for it? Okay.
I'm down for it.
So mentoring and sponsorship, okay.
I'm down for it.
And okay, cool. So when you are being sponsored,
Yeah.
so let's say I would offer a sponsorship to you. What is your offer in terms of the package that you provide to a potential sponsor? Let's say I'm Emirates Airline or DP World. What are you doing? What's your daily routine to deliver? Messages, speeches, or is it more than that?
Well, in the past, because I didn't have a lot of knowledge and experience. So in the past, I did a lot of social media. I've done some talks, interviews, things like that. But now as I'm developing, I could actually create, health and wellness programs for their employees, get them to, speak at events and develop some of their strategies to increase the level of, motivation in their employees by, my own experience and what I dealt with and what has helped me in the past and how we can use that to improve the situation in their company, if you will. These are some of the things that I'll be doing, as well as obviously speaking giving, as well as talking, giving motivational speeches. And I'm also writing a book, so they will be benefiting as well to have their name associated with my book and association with a woman like myself who has achieved a lot, not just locally, but at an international level.
As a role model, as an inspiration, I can totally see how you can capture that emotion of success and empower young men and women to be able to achieve beyond what is expected. Is that one of the key things that you do?
Can you repeat that again?
Okay. I said you're winning, your habit of winning and breaking through is such an inspiration that becomes part of your value to a company, and you inspire a lot of young people. Is that really your DNA now over the next few years? Build people.
I would say so, because this is what I say, and I repeat this. I'm an everyday person. I just made it happen. I learned the skills that I needed to do to actually motivate myself to keep going and not quit, because anyone could say, okay, I want to create a goal like this, go to the Olympics, but may quit over time because they were constantly being pushed to the other side. And that's what kept happening to me. I was pushed to the other side, pushed to the other side. No, 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 no. But I never stopped. And then I started getting my yes. And then I started getting, okay, a little bit better. And then I was picked up by international news agencies, international companies. And that's why a lot of companies internationally, they appreciate association with me, because they know that the impact that I have created is bigger than just Amna Al Haddad. It's more about the story that will inspire the many millions out there.
Absolutely. Our company is called MAD. MAD stands for Make a Difference. How are you making a difference in people's lives?
The best way I can say it is an example of recently a 14-year-old Australian Muslim young lady who has become the first hijabi ballerina in the world. And she has quoted me as an inspiration to her.
Wonderful.
So for me to have been able to impact a young girl like that, to be able to pursue her dream in her chosen sport, is an amazing experience and feeling to know that I had a role in that. Even though I did not have a direct role in that, it's just the story itself. And for me, that's what I believe really makes a difference. Is you have to be yourself, and as you are being yourself, you can inspire many others to be themselves and do what they're doing, and show that there are no barriers, and break down these barriers and break these doors and kick them.
Brilliant. The last question from my side is that in 25 years from now, if we're sitting here doing the same conversation again, what are we celebrating, Amna? What are the wonderful things you have done all over the world, and what have you achieved?
Oh my God, that's a very big question, man. Come on. I do have some ideas of what I would like to achieve by then, and Well, I would have liked to done the following, and one of them is actually have written 3 books by then. And I would have loved to see there are no challenges women face in sports anymore, not because of where they're from, their color, their gender, what they wear. And I would like to see more work done for women in sports in places like Saudi, for example, because I have been in talks with some people already about doing some programs with them.
What is that one piece of advice that you want to give them that they can take and use first thing tomorrow in their lives to change their lives?
My one piece of advice for women who were here today at the WIL Economic Forum is one thing, and it's very simple. Take action. That's all there is to it.
Sounds very good. Amna, you're wonderful. You're an inspiration to all of us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And inshallah, you will be very, very, very successful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.